Hey everyone, I'm back again, and today I have a pretty powerful message for you guys. One in which, as you always know, I'm always talking about my current experience in this life, and what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is absolutely going to be coming from my heart and my soul, and I want to share some of my own personal learnings and experiences as of late. And you might even be able to sense, if you guys who watch me a lot of the time, you might even be able to sense the difference in my energy today. I don't know, I can definitely feel it for myself. But it's going to be a really empowering message, so bear with me, and I want to hear from you guys. So drop me a comment, say hi, let me know where in the world you're tuning in from, and I absolutely can't wait to share this particular message with you guys in the hope that it helps and supports you in the exact way that it has helped and supported me. So today's message is, it's not your job to wake people up from their journey. And I'm going to be talking into this from a few different perspectives. But basically, let me just kind of riff on this with you guys. I put out a post this morning, those of you who have read that, you'll kind of have a bit of an insight into what today's message is all about. But basically, through a bunch of my different experiences or opportunities to wake up and learn the lessons, I've come up with this message. And it's supporting and serving me, firstly on a personal level, and secondly also on a business level as well. So basically, who this message is for any of us who are seeing what people are doing that's costing them, that's not healthy for them, that, we're seeing where it's headed and we just want to help them out there. But it's for you. I don't care how good your intentions are, because I know mine have been really good. At the end of the day, it is definitely not your job to wake people up from their own journey, and you absolutely need to allow them to have their own personal experience. The reason is that when you try and stop somebody from doing something that you can see is not good for them, you rob them of the opportunity to actually build their own certainty with their own decisions. And we all need to make mistakes in this life in order to get the experience to learn and grow. If we don't have our own experiences with things, if we just listen to what outside people tell us that we haven't personally experienced, there's always going to be a bit of a question mark around, did we make the right decision? Did we not? And second to that, it's also, we don't get the opportunity to build the muscle of trust within ourselves that, no matter what mistakes we make in this lifetime, we can learn and grow and become better for them. Not because somebody outside of us told us what to do, but because we experienced it, we went through it, we were wiser for it, and we chose to take a new direction, right? That's a much more empowered place to be. Now, one of the major reasons today's message has come up for me, excuse me, because I've had a really big coaching session that's awoken all these different patterns of mine that I am required to work on. But if you guys listened to a Facebook Live I did a couple of days ago, you'll know that I was threatened. My safety was threatened. All sorts of things were going on based on somebody that I chose to invite into my life, who I hadn't yet vetted, and I took the time to vet, and ended up discovering that they were quite a wounded person who wasn't taking responsibility for their own wounding, has a lot of their own work to do, and instead of doing that work, they projected it onto me. Me taking 100% responsibility, I allowed that to happen, and it was absolutely the experience that I had to have in order for myself to wake up, but it has turned not so great, and so what I wanted to tell you guys about this is that my coaches, I've got 2 coaches right now that I'm working with, and both of them knew the circumstance and the situation and gave me their wisdom and shared through their own experience what I should be doing in the dynamic. And I chose to take that all on board, but then there was a part of me that felt like I was always going to have this curiosity, this question, whether I was doing the right thing. And so So I opened the doors up and I opened the dynamic back up just so that I could be certain of what I was, if my intuition was correct and if my coaches were indeed absolutely spot on, and that's what I needed to do. It's not that I didn't trust my coaches, it was more that from where I've come from, growing up feeling like I had to do everything that other people expected of me and not really have a voice for myself or know who I was or know what it was that I wanted or know how it was that I felt. Because of that journey, it was part of my growth to actually go against external authority in a way and just have my own experience myself, be willing to make mistakes, and build my own muscle to trust myself. And so I did open the gates, and what happened as a result was far worse than what had previously been presented to me. So a lot more abuse, threats to my safety, lots of crazy stuff, right? And so what happened for me though through that experience was that I actually now have complete, utter, total certainty about what's right, what the right choice is for me in my life. And it didn't it came from, some people that I trust and I know have my best interests at heart, sharing their wisdom, sharing their perspective, me taking that on board, but then me making some choices and decisions that, you could look at as being a mistake, but I don't look at it that way because it actually gave me the opportunity to have my own personal experience so that I could actually have that growth and that lesson within, because we absolutely have to experience life in order to grow through it. It's not enough to just take in information and to just, to take on board other people's experiences, because there will be that part of your lesson that you haven't yet learned. And so you do need to make some of your own choices and decisions from that. And it all comes from experiencing what is right and what is wrong. Now, nobody could have told me any better. Even having the two best coaches I've at this point in my life ever had in my life, I've got both of them in my corner. They couldn't even tell me. I had to do it myself. All right. I've run different patterns in my life, in my relationship dynamics that, everybody could tell me about during the time, but I had to experience it, in order to learn the lesson. Nobody could tell me, not the closest people to me. Same thing happened when I have invested a hell of a lot of money in a coach who is the most fantastic salesman I've ever come across in my whole entire life. And, I had to go down that path of spending thousands and thousands of dollars on somebody who actually in the end wanted to take advantage of me physically, sexually, and financially, right? I had to have that lesson myself through my own experience. Nobody could tell me. And even in that place, I've had conversations with a couple of different people who are in that same environment. I've shared my story and they've completely discounted and diminished what I experienced and who this person really was. And that's because they're on their own journey. I can't be the one to wake people up, from a lie, because just as I needed to be on that journey, so too did they, right? So this can come into play. And, this last person who's just come into my life and, ended up being the most abusive person I've ever experienced in my life, because of that, like nobody could have told me. This person that I'm mentioning right now, they're in this industry. You guys have met this person, a lot of you who've been watching along in a lot of the stuff that I've done and recently. And so, when I met this person, I had my naivety on in terms of, everybody who's in this industry has a massive heart of gold. They're just trying to help and support and contribute and grow. And they're absolutely walking their talk and they're looking after themselves and all that sort of stuff. And I was rudely awoken to one of the most incongruent, abusive human beings that I've yet to experience and be in contact with. But if you had told me at the beginning, of which different people did, my coaches definitely did, other people did, you couldn't have told me, right? I just couldn't have seen that until I've had the experience, all right? So the reason why I want to share this with you is because we can be on both sides of the fence. You know, this morning I woke up and my heart hurt. You know, I felt really sad that there's multiple people out there who I've come across now who are convincing, kind-hearted people of some real fallacies, right? So there's some tough stuff out there, and I thought to myself, what should I be, should I be talking about this? Should I be letting them know? Should I be waking people up to this? And it actually came up for me that no, it is not my job to wake people up on their journey. Just as I have had to make the mistakes that I've made in my life, when nobody could have told me until I've had the experience, you know, when you go and try and wake somebody up who's not ready to wake up, they're on their part of the journey that's leading them to their own unique growth and evolution, they're not going to hear you anyway, right? So it's only when somebody's intuition kind of wakes up and they can sense some sort of inconsistency or incongruence and they actively seek your guidance or your wisdom, that you're ever going to actually have some form of impact in order to help and support that person on their own waking up journey. And I feel like this is a really good message for all of us to get. Number one, for ourselves personally, don't just take on board what everybody else says. Know that you will get the lesson when you experience it. Definitely keep your eyes and ears open. Hear different people's perspectives. Seek guidance from, third parties that don't have any vested interest in you and that other person being in relationship, or whatever the dynamic is, or whatever the circumstance is in your life. But then run it through your own experience, because when you have your experience, that's when you'll learn the lesson. And maybe you have to have the experience a few different times to learn that lesson. I know I certainly have, particularly in the realm of relationships. I feel like I've been running a very over-accommodating, self-sacrificing pattern in my intimate relationships for the entire 15, 16 years that I've been in intimate relationships, right? And so, it's only now that I've actually made connection points in terms of, why it is that I tend to attract the exact same sort of person into my life. Why it is that I've attracted over and over again the same wounded man who is, got a lot of work to do, who's had some traumatic experiences. And what I actually put it down to, I'll just share this with you guys now, is I finally made the connection point that, I saw as I was growing up, I saw my father as the most wounded man I'd ever met, who got angry, who projected his emotional experience onto the outside world. And as a result, people didn't like being around him, right? People judged him, criticized him for that. And as a little girl, I felt really sorry for my dad. I felt sorry that everybody was treating him so poorly and they couldn't see that he was wounded and that he didn't know how to express his emotions and be vulnerable and all that sort of stuff. So as a little girl, I became over accommodating to my dad. And as a result, I also learned to switch off my connection to how I really felt about things, my emotions, and switch off my needs, because they weren't going to get met. They were only going to create conflict in what I was trying to do, which was create harmony in a chaotic environment. And so because of that, and because of that scenario, what I ended up doing more into my adult years, up until this point of awareness, is attract very wounded men who were that same kind of dynamic. And my tendency is to see the potential of where they could be. But my mistake was that I connected my own sense of value to my ability to get this wounded man to actually grow and attain his potential, and if he could do that, that would mean that I was lovable. It was kind of rewriting the pattern of my relationship with my dad, who was this wounded man. And maybe if I was lovable enough, he would change, he would grow, he would, do the work to reach his potential. And I've only just discovered that fact about how I've been running relationship, and attaching my value to my partner, growing and progressing. But that's why I've attracted a wounded person who's been a victim, and I've been the rescuer trying to get them to become the creator, but they're not going to do that. And on a deeper, more metaphysical level, I don't want them to actually do that, because if any of my partners had ever reached their potential and done the work and become, the creator rather than the victim in their life, then I would never wake up from my pattern, and I'd continue to attach my value of myself to another external source of a person making the change to reach their potential. And therefore I'm lovable enough to change for, right? To become your best self for, right? So you can see how that's not healthy, no matter how well-intentioned that might be. That's me over relying on somebody else to prove that I'm of value, and and me expecting them to be different to the reality of who they are, and if they weren't, that would mean something personal about me, right? So it took this last person coming into my life, who wasn't a relationship, although they really wanted that to happen. But my coach, I'm grateful for my coaches, because they allowed me to slow down, put the brakes on with this particular human being and work out who they were. And in the short period of time that I've known them, they've ended up being a complete, and I hate using this label, because I feel like we've all got a spectrum of narcissism and being more empathic. But the way of behavior was so abusive and narcissistic that it just had to wake me up. And like I said, how they've responded and attacked me and threatened me, it's like, whoa, like, okay, wake up, Vanessa, and that's why, I look at every single one of these situations like this is the worst I've ever experienced, but it's gonna be the last of this particular lesson. And it has taken, this level of pain, to be able to wake up to my own personal patterns, and also take deeper responsibility for what I'm allowing in my life, what I'm attracting into my life, and knowing that everything I'm attracting is here to support my growth and evolution. So if I'm attracting a certain type of person, what is that? What is that about me that I need to work on, right? And so everybody, we're all on our own journey right now. Just remember, you can't tell other people. And if you are, say you're somebody who is telling somebody, hey, you're doing the wrong thing, blah, 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 blah. Particularly if you're a parent, right? If you're doing that, what you're actually doing for that person is reinforcing to them that they shouldn't be trusting themselves, and also that they can't make mistakes. Mistakes are really bad. Now, if we don't trust ourselves and we have a perception that mistakes are really bad, that is really going to hinder our growth in life. That's really going to hinder our level of fulfillment in life, because we're not going to be willing to take a risk at the expense of potentially making a mistake, and we're not going to trust ourselves enough to make that mistake. We're going to over rely on external sources to tell us what to do, and we're never really going to grow and progress, and we're going to get to the end of our lives really regretting not taking actions and testing things out that could have led to more fulfillment in our lives. All right, so you guys have heard me say this time and time again, but remember, the number one regret of the dying is I wish I had have had the courage to live a life true to myself rather than one I felt was expected of me. All right, so don't fall into that trap. Learn from the people previous to us, and also make sure that you are creating your own experiences so that you can learn the lessons and build the muscle within yourself that you know that you can trust yourself. Because at the end of the day, I just had this conversation with my beautiful mum this morning, and she said, oh, Vanessa, I worry about you, right? Because I invited this person who's now abused me and attempted to threaten my life and all sorts of things. I actually invited this person into my house, right? And spent time with them. And, and she was very like, oh, I'm so worried about you, Vanessa. You worry me. And I said, Mum, you know what? You do not need to worry about me. Do you know why? Because I'm going to make mistakes. I'm human and I'm somebody who's always going to be growing. But the reason why you don't have to worry about me is because I will always learn and grow from whatever mistake, I don't even like to call them mistakes, but whatever challenge I'm presented with, right? And that's really empowering. And in the past, I would have doubted myself. I would have let, different people's worry or concern, diminish my trust within myself. And I've definitely been there. But right now, I'm feeling very empowered. Although you could look at it like, oh, what the hell, Vanessa? Like some of the things going on for me this week look like a Jerry Springer episode. It's crazy, but at the end of the day, it's really all about this fact that, it's not your job to wake somebody else up from their own journey, just as you are on your own journey as well. So get about making mistakes, learning from them, gleaning the wisdom from them, and building the muscle of trust within yourself, because you know that every challenge that you're faced with, the inevitable challenges, you will always learn and grow and become wiser and make better choices and decisions and learn more about who you are as a person and where you're going than you ever could have had you just chosen to sit back and let the world tell you what to do. All right, so I hope this message has supported you and served you. Me sharing my personal experience with you and, just waking us all up, giving us permission to stop trying to fix other people. That's not our job, right? It is not my job to fix wounded men, to prove to myself that I'm lovable enough for them to change, right? What a crazy pattern, we've all got them, and I can't wait to discover a few more of my own, Not my job to wake people up, and it's also my job to wake myself up through my own personal experience. So hope this has resonated with you guys. I definitely want to check in with you. Let me know, have you got any questions or comments or words of wisdom, or just say hi. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. I always love connecting with you guys, but let me check in now. Who have I got? I've got Moises and James and Judy and Bina. Thank you for giving your wisdom as a gift to us. Oh, always, Bina. I'm always grateful to see you, beautiful soul, and always really touching my heart to know that you're finding value in these messages. And Rim's here as well, and Jerry from Quebec City, Canada, at work. Thanks for your kindness. Always, my friend, and right back at you. Always love that you can tune in from work. That's cool. And Mark's here, and Lucy and Kathy and Anne. Awesome to see you guys. And Jerry, it's part of life to fall down and it will happen time and time again. Just like a child, we fall and get back up again. Absolutely. And I don't know about you guys. I'm assuming so, because you wouldn't be listening to a message like this if you weren't into your growth and really valuing that. Every time I've fallen down, I've gotten back up stronger. I don't know what happens to us in that falling down, or maybe it's the getting back up, but we're building a stronger muscle. We learn more about who we are, about what we want, what we stand for, what we stand against. And, by doing so, we create a better filter for our choices in this life. But nobody can tell you that stuff. You've got to experience it. All right. So love that, Jerry. And Ashara is here. What a beautiful name. I hope I said it right. And Tadashi and Moises, as always, so gorgeous. Thank you so much for your kind words there, Moises. Hope you're doing well. And Jerry, some out there are good salespeople that could sell a fridge to an Eskimo. Absolutely. For me personally, that experience that I was mentioning about a coach that I invested in, I met him the first day. I gave him $25,000 cash, straight up. because he said every possible thing that I really wanted. Like, it was perfect. He was the best salesman I've ever experienced. And over time, nearly putting down another $75,000. I'm really grateful for how that played out, because before I put all that money down, he revealed to me his true colors, and attempted to proposition me. I had a partner at the time, in the same room. There was lots of seedy stuff going on in that environment, plus the fact that, like, they were all talk and there was no action. There was no great result that I was getting from everything that they were promising, no deliverance. So always slow down and vet people over time, no matter who they are. Take your time to really see if they do align with who they say they are. This other person who's been abusive in my life, given me the gift of abuse to wake me up, they have ended up being the most incongruent human being I've ever met in my life. And at the time when I met them, I thought the complete opposite. I thought how authentic and honest and open this person was, and how much they were doing some great things in the world. And I had other people look at his stuff and they were like, this guy, stay away from this guy. Do not involve yourself with this guy. Definitely do not connect your business with this guy. You do not want those people that are attracted to that. You've got a beautiful audience of amazing people. You don't want to cross-pollinate that, right? And I was like, what are these people talking about? Like, whatever, like, I don't care. Like, I connect with this person and we can have some great conversations. And I had to learn the lesson the hard way, right? And so, and also coupled with the fact that nobody's all good or all bad, right? We're across the spectrum on everything. But the main key is, this is what you always want to be looking out for in people. Do they take 100% responsibility for their own growth and the work that they need to do? Do they take 100% responsibility, or do they want to project that out onto other people and play a victim and surround themselves with enablers? All right, that is the number one thing, if you just take nothing else but this out of today's message, to vet people through how much responsibility they take for their own personal relationship with themselves and their growth. Because at the end of the day, if they don't take responsibility for that, just know you're going to be the one to cop it. And they're going to expect you to make them feel good all the time, right? And you're an imperfect human being just trying to deal with your own stuff. The greatest gift anybody can give you is a loving relationship with themselves and their commitment to their own growth. And the same rings true for you. The greatest gift that you can give anybody that you love is a great relationship with yourself and taking 100% responsibility for how you show up in this world, all right? And the work that you need to do, and healing your wounds and whatever it is, and noticing your patterns, taking that responsibility, all right? So, oh my gosh, lots in this one. I hope you guys are picking it up and finding it valuable. Been talking a lot today. And Terry's in the house, and Sepran, I'm not sure how to say your name, but love having you here. And Terry, hi Vanessa. Thanks for being your light into an already sunny Spain. Always good to see you, my friend. And Kathy, hi beautiful girl. Been where you've been to, hoping next time I can break this pattern. We keep falling into this until we learn the lesson. Love that you're sharing that so openly, and so good to have you live, Kathy. Good to see you. And yeah, absolutely. You guys who've been watching my interview series over the past couple of weeks, yesterday I got to interview one of my favorite people to learn from, the beautiful Pip McKay. And she actually watched a video that I spoke into this whole scenario with, and she actually started talking about it during our interview yesterday. And since then, her and I have been in a conversation around this being a challenge for a lot of women. And she's had a lot of experience in this realm, in abusive relationships and so forth. And so we've been in dialogue about putting something together for you guys, which might see me maybe interviewing her about her vast knowledge and experience in this realm, and then her maybe using her processes and coaching on me so you guys can get to see it live, and get to use these processes in your own life to wake yourself up through your own experience, as to how to break these unhealthy patterns so that we can learn the lesson and no longer repeat the same old tired patterns. So I hope you guys will find value in that. Let me know if you will. And thank you so much for sharing, Kathy. My heart is with you, beautiful. And Bina, loving that you're finding this superb. And Manoj, thank you, Vanessa. You're so welcome. And Kathy, been a while, honey. Love your words of wisdom. So grateful to hear that. Thank you so, so much. And yeah, it's been ages. So that's why it's so good to have you back. And Nat Hayes, thank you, Vanessa, from the UK. Awesome to have you here, and you're so welcome. And Moises, thank you, Vanessa. You are so welcome as well. And Kathy, sorry you had to meet this person for your lesson. We don't get to choose our lessons in life. They choose us according to our need. Yes, so beautifully put. You know, I appreciate that, you know, and then I second that it's exactly what needed to happen. I was meant to meet this person, you know, and the funny paradoxical thing about this is that I actually met this person because they'd experienced abuse from that coach I mentioned who was taking advantage of people financially, and a lot of women, myself included, trying to proposition them and take advantage of them sexually. So it's so funny that I met this person because of that one, and he was on my side of the fence, like, what is this, what's going on, and what's happened with you? And you know, and then this guy turned out to be in my opinion, I think worse than this original person that connected us. And the reason why I say worse is because at least the one that I invested a lot of money with, they are in some ways helping people, you know, and you know, in some good ways they're helping people. If you don't have morals and you don't really care about what he's doing with other people behind the scenes, you're still going to get value from him. Whereas this other person, I mean, I can't even agree with a lot of the things that this person shares because it's actually can create a lot of problems for people. It's not thought out. It's not congruent at all. And so anyway, it's just really interesting that it doesn't matter how you meet people and what you think, like, you know, just experience them, slow things down, work things out for yourself, and use it always for a growth curve, you know. So it's definitely what I'm doing now. And Simon's in the house, love it. Bugger, just jumped on. We'll watch the replay. Hope you're well. Thanks, Simon. I hope you catch the recording, get some value from it. And thanks for saying hi. And hi to Ram and Naeem. Hello to you. And Paul's here as well. And good to see you. And Lavango, I think great message indeed. Thanks. You're so welcome. Grateful that this was of value to you. And Angela's here as well. And awesome, Simon. So, guys, that is my message for you. Remember, I am giving you permission to stop being over responsible for other people, despite the path you can see they're going down. It's not going to be good for them. It is not your job to wake people up from their journey. Don't rob them of their own personal experience that is necessary for them to learn the lesson and be beyond it, okay? And second to that, you know, give yourself permission to just make some mistakes. It's okay. And in fact, it's necessary for your growth. And if you really want to grow and progress and be free of negative patterns and go on a healthy journey, you absolutely have to be willing to make mistakes, to experience what you've got to experience on your personal journey so that you can go about the evolution that is right for you. Okay? And just know, we're all on our own journeys, okay? And just respect that. Respect your own journey, respect everybody else's journey, and just take 100% responsibility for your own growth in this life. And that is my message for you guys. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining me live. I really hope today's message has empowered you and served you and got you, just thinking about how you can really apply this to your life. And Jerry, awesome advice. Thanks, Vanessa. You're so welcome. Grateful to hear that. And as always, guys, I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, that you're doing something super empowering, and today's message has definitely served you, and that each and every one of you guys are staying safe and sane during this time. And tomorrow, I've got another amazing guest that I'll be interviewing over on my Instagram page. So make sure that you're following me on Instagram so that you get the notification, you get to show up live. It will be the incredible Michael Bennett. He's an amazing Australian comedian that I had the pleasure of meeting back in August on a cruise ship. You wouldn't be on a cruise ship right now, would you? But I met him on a cruise ship, and he was one of the comedians, and he was absolutely phenomenal. He's not just funny and humorous like our amazing comedians. He has an inspired message behind everything that he does that really empowers people from his own personal experiences. So I absolutely cannot wait to share him with you, and his knowledge and just the way that he delivers everything that he does. He's extraordinary. So you definitely want to, as I said, jump on my Instagram page. I'll link it up above after this, and follow me over there so that you can join us tomorrow, 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And I absolutely cannot wait to have you guys live if you can join. And Gamal, good morning from Egypt. We love to see you happy. It's a hard time to walk to our work. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for showing up, Gamal. Always a pleasure to have you on, and hope today's message does serve you, and appreciate you. And Ranjit, thank you so much for your kind words. And Simon, love it. You're the bomb.com. I love it. So I'm signing off. I'm sending you guys all of my love, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow in the interview with Michael Bennett over on Instagram. All right. Awesome. Michael's in the house. So good. So you guys can follow Michael Bennett here. He's saying he's looking forward to it. I can't wait. So you guys can connect with him and dive into his amazing work, and I'll get to spend a whole hour with him tomorrow. So you guys, I hope that you will join. Sending you guys all of my love, and I'll see you tomorrow.